So guys, I've been looking, I'm trying to get a little bit away from MMA. Just a little bit. I'll have daily MMAs, but I am trying to get just a little bit of it, and so's everybody else. Ariel Helwani, 15-time whatever of the year, in the last week has done darts. I mean, you got to be pretty desperate for darts. He's doing basketball, which you got. I think that would be desperation, but I admit there's an audience for it. Lots and lots of boxing, professional wrestling, and MMA. 5 things in the last week. And I'm only telling you last week because that's all the further I look back. If I look back 2 weeks, I would guess it would be the same. If I look back 2 months, I would guess it's the same. But I'm just using an example, and I halfway get it. I mean, I do halfway get it where there is a frustration if you're a professional attempting to build and hype and bring a story to a match. The only thing that could possibly build anticipation. The one word that the industry survives on, believe me, it's not finishing fights. It's not knockouts. It's not submission. You hear these buzzwords. One thing keeps the lights on, which is anticipation. And the only way to do that is through a story. And if you're a professional and you're attempting to storytell for all of these years for guys who aren't telling their own story, at some point, you start picking up darts, I guess. And I will just tell you, as I'm looking at other things, as I'm expanding my interests, I would like an opponent. And I found a guy, David Goggins. You guys know this David Goggins? Inspirational, motivational guy. And Goggins backed Jon Jones in the fight and did this for media. Sat in the audience, got the cameos, he's cheering for Jon. You haven't done anything when you surrounded yourself with a guy who's the 3-1 favorite. If you had a special sauce, you'd have backed the underdog and had him beat the 3-1 favorite. So I'm giving a real good look at Goggins. Now I must tell you, that's what got my attention. In fairness, as I started to build up and get prepared to blindside the guy who's got a big voice, he can stick up for himself. Believe me, Goggins would be all right. But as I did that, he won me over. He won me over. There's a lot to this guy. I found him very interesting. I found him very motivational. I found him aspirational. I'm on board. So now I don't have an opponent. He made a fan, and I don't get to have an enemy. All right, good job for Goggins. So then I'm still looking, though, right? And the supplementation space, the do what I do and have the biggest arms in Westland, like that space has always interested me for one reason. It's filled with liars. Now, for the most part, that's just what that is. Right? One of the reasons that so many things at GNC has been tainted over the years is there is no regulation on that. Our Food and Drug Administration does not oversee supplements. So now you have snake oil. And I will tell you, as a kid, on my birthday, I got one thing. I go to a store, I got one thing. I used to have like a $20 cap. But I could get one thing. My dad would take me to the store, and every year I wanted to go into GNC. And I would go look around GNC, and whatever guy on the package I deemed to look the best, I bought that product. And of course it didn't work. They never work. They are absolute garbage. But they still exist, and you still have them. And like that isn't going to end anytime soon. So as I'm snooping around that space, you'll generally have somebody like me. Like I've had forums before that will ask me, are you black? Are you white? Are you Hispanic? Are you Asian? I will have to make a box and check it that says I'm shady. That's what I write. The kids I like best in life are the ones I met right outside of the principal's office. But within the space of supplements, which is nothing more than snake oil, you mainly have guys like me. You have a guy that is clearly on steroids. You'll have a guy that might have done a little bit of time in jail. It's one of these things, but he's got a good physique and he's got a camera and he can speak the language, and all of a sudden you're going to give his thing a shot. On the outside chance that for the first time ever, it might work. It never does. Ever. Not a maybe, not sometimes, never. Now, when I talk about shady characters like yours truly, we're now confronted with a new guy named Andrew Huberman. And he's not a shady character. As a matter of fact, he's from Stanford. And he's very well spoken. Now, he doesn't say much. He's one of these guys where he's got the smart intellect, but the smartest thing that he does is make a beautiful headline, stay very calm talking to a camera, and say nothing. So I couldn't encourage you to go and watch one of his videos. I've done that. Probably 50 of them because the headline was beautiful. How to never procrastinate, how to up your testosterone. Blah, 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 blah about dopamine. I've listened to him, and I'll do the 7 and 8 minutes, and by God, I mean, he doesn't say anything. It really is a skill, how he can go round and around. But when you have somebody from Stanford that does not have the checkered past, he's going to be the guy that comes into town, he's going to be the new guy on the white horse wearing the white hat, right? When he is dishonest, now it's a lie, and that's very different. You don't ever hear me call someone a liar. Never. When people are wrong, that's what I say. I say that they have it wrong. And there's a massive difference in lying as opposed to having it wrong, as opposed to you misspoke. Massive. I don't like that he's a liar, he's a liar. I don't like that. But this gentleman that isn't like the rest of us, he's much more polished to come in and say the things that he's saying. He would, of course, know the difference. And I got to go online. Look, I never looked it up. In all fairness, I never looked it up. When I was a little boy, my mother told me what it meant. That it's not a matter of saying something that isn't true. It's a matter of saying something isn't true when you intend to deceive. The example she gave me, if today is Tuesday and somebody says, what day is it? And you tell them it's Wednesday, but you actually think it's Wednesday. You then have not lied. You're just wrong. So when I watch Huberman go on and tell people how they can up their testosterone fourfold or their growth hormone fourfold, that is not only not true, somebody in his position would know it's not true. So by my mother's definition, he lies. I don't like that he's doing that. I don't know why he's doing that. And it's the biggest problem within our space. It's the biggest one. I'm a big fan of Hulk Hogan, and I forgive him completely. But Hulk Hogan is the example that people my age will always turn to. He denied that he did anabolics. He said he just said a lot of prayers and took vitamins and exercised, right? It turned out to not be true. But now you wasted 20 years of somebody else's life because we believed you. And we tried to simulate you, and we couldn't get the results of you. John Cena has now taken that torch from Hulk Hogan, or The Rock has taken it. But what they could do is they could just tell you the truth, which is legal. It's appropriate, and it's helpful, obviously. Obviously. They don't need to keep that secret selfishly to themselves, and that's where some of the problem comes in. And when a guy like Huberman, who breaks into the space, going around making friends with all sorts of people, comes out and tells you that through a cold shower or any other truly dishonest thing that he has said, which is all of it, as it pertains to upping testosterone and upping growth hormone. It is so untrue, but it's provable. Because I've made pieces like this before, and I've had Derek at More Plates, More Dicks. I've even had Coach Greg come out, and they want to talk about Chael's wrong. Chael asks you then to bring me the person that you've done it with. You get all these fitness guys together, and they say that you can achieve certain goals, that you could put on 20 pounds in 3 months of muscle clean. They'll tell you that after a lifetime in it, but they'll never bring you the person they've done it with. There would be massive money that somebody would give. They're going to give you about $2,500 up front, but they'll put a bonus on that of $250,000. And they'll give you the 90 days, and they'll do anything that you ask. But if you get them here of lean, clean muscle in 3 months, they will give you this kind of. These guys don't try to get it. They don't try to get it. They don't know anyone that's done it. It's not true, and I don't know why. Every fitness guy, including the guys that juice, will tell you that you can get those results without juicing if you're willing to work hard enough. It's not true. And Huberman is claiming all over Hell and Gone that through showers, just for one, he's got all sorts of claims, fasting and some other stuff, just through a shower that you can up your testosterone 4 times. That's a blood draw and a test. But he's never provided it, and he never will. That has never happened. That is something you have to be profoundly ignorant to believe, but you have to be almost a bad person to say it. My wrestling team, so this isn't one guy. I'm telling you, you don't know one guy, and you're a doctor, and there's something from whatever you did over at Stanford, You probably drove through town, stopped over the cafeteria, but whatever it is with the Stanford, I don't need one guy. I had a team of guys. I had them my freshman year, my sophomore year, my junior, my senior year. It's about 60 guys. But when those years were done, I got them again. I got freshman and sophomore and junior and senior year in the form of college. When that was done, I did another 22 years. Big teams, right? Big teams, but lots and lots of guys. Every single day we did cold showers. Every single day we lifted our asses off. Every single day we sauna'd. I mean, what a coincidence. You probably don't know very many people. You've probably not done that with the cold showers and the hot and the exercise and the fasting. We had to make weight. We did absolutely everything that they're claiming ups your testosterone. So this isn't an opinion for me. Not one person's did. Not one person's. This is silly. When I took testosterone, which was as recently as a week ago, I could not up it 4 times. On exogenous, pharmaceutical grade testosterone. I couldn't do that. And he's telling people through sauna, through cold shower, through fasting. I'm going fast here. That's a lie. He knows it's a lie. You can look at his little skinny self. He's never done it. He'll never get somebody that does it. And all he'd have to do is do a blood test. It'd be very easy to prove. And if you're making claims like that, it's not a matter of Chael coming in and telling you, go get somebody and test them. If you're an honest guy, you'd have already had it. You never would have made the claim that they can go up 4 times. You'd have never made the claim if you didn't have the evidence. So you can't find a guy, you won't find a guy, but you haven't found a guy. And that's a little bit of a problem for Mr. Huberman.